I will show you more evidence.
This IDF animation posted in late October claims to represent a Hamas tunnel system underneath the hospital. But having been inside Al-Shifa since early Wednesday, Israel's yet to produce evidence of the tunnels.
And I will show you more evidence.
And what we see in this IDF video doesn't equate to Israel's description of Al-Shifa as an operational command center for Hamas.
And I will show you more evidence.
The BBC was shown the same room. And what we see in the two videos doesn't precisely match. For example, there's one gun in the IDF video, two by the time of the BBC footage.
And I will show you more evidence.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And yes, my last video where I did a lot of exposing of one conservative talking head, Ben Shapiro, was definitely shadow banned. You can actually go to my community page that's associated with the channel. You can see from some of my previous videos where the actual interactions, or whatever they're called, were completely nerfed overnight from thousands to literally zero. Transparency is key, YouTube. Thank you for that. But now I'm about to just burn the whole bridge down from the looks of it, because as you can see from the title of this video, I'm about to talk about the fact that the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, just can't stop lying about everything. And I mean, it starts with their name. Let's be honest. The Israeli Defense Force, everything they've been doing has been offensive. There's nothing defensive about what they're doing. And I think that the evidence is in how many dead Palestinians there are right now since October the 8th. Everyone wants to talk about the 1,400 people approximately that died on October 7th, and don't want to talk about the 15,000 that have died since October the 8th. I think it's about up to 15,000 now. I know that we're up to like 6,500 children have been recorded dead at the hands of the most humanitarian military in all of human history, the IDF. And there's just so many examples of their, I pulled up a bunch here, of their absolute BS. And we'll start with the idea that Hamas is using hospitals, for example, as military bases almost, and that the IDF, sweet, innocent, beautiful Israel, would never do such a thing. Well, here's a picture right now of that Al-Shifa hospital, where we have Israeli soldiers literally bunked up in using the school. Actually, this is not. They were talking about how Al-Shifa, the hospital, was used as a Hamas base, and that they would never do something like that. But here is an Israeli soldier in a school. A sniper in a school. Very, very humanitarian of them. The most moral and humanitarian military in all of human history. Then they brought up this. This is the Al-Shifa hospital. This is what the IDF actually posted to sort of, as their part of their proof, because everyone feels so inclined to provide all this proof all the time. When you're so humanitarian, you're so moral, usually your actions speak for themselves. But they always have to show so much proof, and they show so much proof in perfect English. It's like almost as if the Western cameras are what matters at the end of all this. But this is what they showed. This is like their proof. That they stored weapons in all these different places. And then here's their wonderful evidence, which the idea. Let's just read the whole tweet, okay? The IDF, in an embarrassing turn of events, once again caught lying. Seen in the pictures below, the IDF claimed to be bringing medical supplies to the Al-Shifa hospital, but in an embarrassing charade, they brought in weapons and placed them as props to film their propaganda for social media. Images below are the results. Israel has been bombing the Al-Shifa hospital for about 6 days now. 24 hours ago, the IDF informed the Palestinian Health Ministry they would be raiding the hospital. In conclusion of the raid, they arrested, blindfolded, and beat multiple civilians, including doctors. The most moral and humanitarian Yeah, military of all time. The BBC actually caught the IDF in a lie as well. And here's a video of it here. They filmed what they said was Hamas center inside the hospital, and the BBC crew arriving. The number of Hamas weapons on the scene magically increased. Israeli war propaganda is increasing to a clownish level. And let's just run this. I'll run this video for you guys here. Good shout out to the BBC. Good job.
This IDF animation posted in late October claims to represent a Hamas tunnel system underneath the hospital. But having been inside Al-Shifa since early Wednesday, Israel's yet to produce evidence of the tunnels. Israel also released its own 7-minute video, which BBC Verify has analysed. A watch, visible in that video, suggests it was filmed a few hours before the BBC arrived. And this IDF video was posted, then deleted, then reposted, this time without a section referring to an Israeli soldier who'd been held hostage. The BBC was shown the same room. And what we see in the two videos doesn't precisely match. For example, there's one gun in the IDF video, two by the time of the BBC footage. Israel also says its video is a single shot with no edits. But this appears to be an edit. The IDF, though, says suggestions it's manipulating the media are incorrect. And what we see in this IDF video doesn't equate to Israel's description of Al-Shifa as an operational command center for Hamas.
So, of course, some of the other classic lies that they told had to do with the hospital schedule. And then they showed this wonderful video of well, here is more evidence of, here's a list. And it's like, it was supposed to be a watch list. It just turned out to be days of the week.
This list, in Arabic, this list says we are in an operation. The operation against Israel started in the 7th of October. This is a Guardian list where every terrorist writes his name and every terrorist has his own shift guarding the people that were here. And now we'll show you more evidence.
And they said that they made an error. And it's funny that they could make that error when we know for a fact that the IDF soldiers can actually read Arabic, because Hebrew and Arabic are the two main languages of Israel. And you would think when you live in that region that they'd be able to know it, speak it, and at least read it and know the basics of it. And they do. They're specifically trained for that so that they can identify, allegedly identify, signs and potential messages. So they just flat out lied about it, knowing that a lot of people, of my white complexion can't read Arabic and just be like, oh my God, that's terrible. It doesn't look anything like how we write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it must not be that. It must be some ha language. And it turns out that they were lying about that too. So the lies just keep piling up and piling up. Then there's one of my favorite ones where it's like, this is a Hamas tunnel. And it turns out it was just like a water thing in Sweden. It wasn't even in Gaza. It was a water reservoir in Sweden. That was a good one. Then there was the IDF posting where they no cuts, no edits, just undeniable truth. Watch as LTC Jonathan Conricus exposes the countless Hamas weapons IDF troops have uncovered at the Shifa Hospital's MRI building, and then they later deleted the post because there were cuts all over it. It didn't match up to anything they posted before. They have a very bad director of photography, let's say that, at the IDF. You'd think with how much success the Jewish people have in Hollywood that they'd be able to find a decent director of photography to at least account for some continuity errors in their videos and in their propaganda. And then another really good one, I say really good one, but there was an Israeli media outlet, I'll put the post up right now, published photos of Palestinian captives in Gaza claiming they're Hamas terrorists. And then someone identified 5 of the 7 men as their family members and were taken captive last night from their home by Israeli forces, says they're not affiliated with Hamas in any way. Her uncle, who was taken with them, is not in the photos. His whereabouts remain unknown. So and so they're just kidnapping random, Palestinian people, because that's what they've also been doing. That's a part of the big lies that they've been telling, is that they've been sort of not telling flat out lie in this topic, but simply always making sure to equate Hamas to Palestine and making the two interchangeable terms rather than two completely separate ones. It would be the same thing as equating like the Hells Angels to Americans. It's just not the same thing, and they do a great job of propagandizing people in that way. And then you get people who just fall hook, line, and sinker for it because they demand that anyone with the even slightest increase over a white person in terms of melanin in their skin to constantly have to disavow the actions of a terrorist organization. But they never do that the other way around. You don't see Ben Shapiro going on there and being told that he has to disavow what the IDF has done to the Palestinian population and civilianry. That never happens. And in fact, if it does happen, in some sort of one of his, BS debates that we talked about in the previous video, where all he does is debate like autistic college students, he just manipulates the conversation and turns it around. And that's true for pretty much everyone. And then you get people like Michael Rappaport, who, I've talked about in the previous video as well. It's just a piece of garbage, but they do these things, these leftist tricks, that have been sort of notorious with, the almost like the trans activist community of, you have to conform or else dire consequences to your life and your career and your family and everything. And then Michael Rappaport will put out a tweet that does basically the exact same thing. Now, that's coming from a leftist, so I kind of understand that he would have that point of view. But there's also, so the support of Israel is not necessarily like a leftist point of view. Like, you're either like, you're Jewish on the left, or you're a right-wing conservative. And they're all sort of cheering it on as sort of the same, as sort of the right thing to do. Like, cancel these people and for having a difference of opinion, and not wanting to see innocent children die, because that's really at the end of the day what the whole argument is, from 99% of the people that are chanting Free Palestine.
The disappearing acts on some Doug Henning, David Blaine shit just disappeared, boom, in the air. A lot of people have disappeared. I'm telling you right now, we are making a list, we are checking it twice, and we already know who's been naughty or nice. See that pun? You see that pun? I'm talking about the Jewish people, but I'm also talking Christmas carols. We will not forget. We're not suckers, so when you come around asking for this, that, and the third, come around asking for money, investments, and all that stuff, I promise you, it's being discussed. We're paying attention to who's being anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic, anti-Israel, or not saying anything at all. I promise you, we see. I'm the enigma. A lot of Jewish people seem nice. We seem like we're suckers. Seem like you could kind of convince us. Trust me, don't come around. 6 months, 8 months, 2 years. We're remembering. We're paying attention.
They might chant a phrase that is connected to Free Palestine that they're now trying to manipulate into being some sort of call for genocide. Even Elon Musk, in his infinite wisdom, Mr. Free Speech himself, has himself equated that and has threatened to suspend people for off of Twitter for saying things like that, for calling for decolonization. Apparently now decolonization, I mean, it is almost typical of somebody who grew up in the apartheid state of South Africa, whose parents were pro-apartheid. So there's always sort of that underlying, it's sort of like Arnold Schwarzenegger with the with the World War II Nazism. His dad was a Nazi, so screw your freedom. Elon Musk does have a little bit of that built into him, apparently, which is an odd thing for him to do, because then he'll tweet a day later about like they'll do anything to stand up for free speech. It's like, well, I can't say decolonize. You know, that's not genocide. That's just saying, hey, maybe you should leave the Palestinians alone, Mr. Small Funny Hats. That's it. That's all I'm saying. But, you know, it's like, I could just keep going, man. I really could just keep going with lie after lie after lie after lie, but I don't know that there's enough time. I don't know if my video camera has that much battery, and I don't know if my computer can handle editing that long of a video because it is old. And in order to help me perhaps get a computer that can handle that, it would take you guys subscribing to this channel and hitting like on this video and letting other people know and sharing parts of this video, at least parts of this video. You know, feel free to chop it up. Just, you know, just tell them where to find the full video, you know, and show everyone where these lies are coming from, and that the lies aren't going to stop. They're going to keep going, and frankly, the IDF is going to keep lying until Palestine is completely wiped off the map and is turned into a parking lot, the way that we see so many people have been calling for quite disgustingly. So thank you for watching this video. Leave a comment in the comment section of other lies that you've caught them telling that maybe that I missed or just didn't have time to put in, you know, because I think this video's run long enough. So thanks for coming. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.